Voice chat knows. What stock is that? Do not search the group. Welcome to Read the Room 2.0 with Unc. What is up, everybody? This is Unc coming at you with Read the Room 2.0, the shorts EDU edition. Gonna be covering the volume scripts, as I call them, RTL early, Indie, RSI, and Money B. Um, Covering those, kind of how I use them across the multiple time frames and what they are. So, give a quick rundown in the beginning here. Boop. There they are of what the I guess the basics of the scripts are. So, um, if you get into the RTL early indie, there is a lot of stuff you can turn on, different clouds, shows prices on alerts. So I just like to keep it a little cleaner, but you could totally mess with them. Some people like those price indicators, and the bullish bearish clouds. Um, there's also MACD trend lines in there. I don't have those on. I just kind of basically use it for the squeeze dots and the MACD. MACD is pretty simple. It's a trend following momentum oscillator between the moving averages. Usually uses a 12 and the 16, which I believe that's what this is set up. You can go in there and mess with it. I have it pretty stock, and then it kind of corresponds that with a 9 moving average as far as where the trend should stay. So it kind of just shows trend strength down here on the MACD. Boop, let me get my arrow up. And again, using that on multiple time frames, very important. Very important to look at it across multiple time frames and getting that confirmation that the trend is the same on all time frames. Perfect. That probably went away. Let me open this back up here. Next is the it's RSI. Let's talk RSI residual strength index. Another momentum oscillator. Kind of measures the speed of the price change. It's a 0 to 100 thing. Kind of your RPM, so to speak. Highs and lows, 70-30. It's pretty basic. It's what I have it set up for. You can highlight it. I have it highlight when you get to the level, and arrows when you get back into the middle of the zone, so to speak. So when it breaks down or breaks out of overbought or oversold conditions, that's what the arrows are there for, and the color is for when it is in that overbought or oversold condition. So yeah, RSI pretty universal tool for a lot of people. I have a couple places on my chart. I have the number up here on the chart as well, and then color coded here. Here I just need to know if it's 40, 50, 60, 70. I don't need to know the exact number. Just a quick simple glance of the RSI over there. So RSI is super important. Again, it's more like the RPMs of the engine that is the stock market. So got you. If you want the move RSI moving, usually corresponds with that. Um, any time frame, larger time frames, smaller time frames, all pretty much the same. Just obviously quicker moving on the smaller time frames. Daily, weekly, best for me. If you're looking for over overbought or oversold conditions. All right, money flow, the last one. Let me bring it back up here. Studies, money B, money flow. What it is this clouded area behind it, and it's basically it uses price and volume to identify the overbought and oversold. So it's a bit redundant with the whole indicator down here looking for overbought or oversold conditions. That's very important. As also when you're analyzing volume to know if if it's just distribution or accumulation through the zone. When it gets to the level, you want to obviously see accumulation. You don't want to see a lot of sellers. So good example here of getting to a level and kind of getting back to that middle ground, so to speak, and really turning the trend here on the weekly. But smaller time frame, you can see rig happened a few candles ago, maybe about the first of the year. Really has been overcooked on the overbought or oversold indicators, as you can see down here with the MACD, the money flow, and RSI. So yeah, using it on multiple time frames is good. 1 hour kind of shows strength shorter term. The daily a bit. If you're scalping, if you are playing that, but I would just use the 1330 SMAs as opposed to anything down there. But just good to know long term trends and conditions of the stock um, with those three indicators together, along with what we've talked about before with the volume profile and the historical volume levels. And lastly, the labels is part of the RTL early indie script. Again, there's a lot to unpack there, so kind of go through them one at a time and figure out which ones work best for you. But you do have market trend, which I like to keep on, and if you look in here, it's all in here. But the market trend, pop this over here. Market trend or the forecast just shows you what the through the indicators together what it projects the market to go in a bullish or bearish trend. Then the MACD trend, it just shows whether we're going green or red. I had that on the blue and the light blue, and it just didn't work for me visually. And the orange and the yellow, it just didn't work for me visually. So that one's up to you. The deviation between the RSIs, I believe, is what that is. When was a big divergence green, small divergence goes red, and then the squeeze dots whether they're current active or not. When they're active in that candle, it'll be a different color. So again, there's so I mean you can see I don't have 5 other things on. So definitely be mindful of that to use them all, or ask me for my settings if you'd like mine, or ask questions about the other ones in general. All right, everybody. Right at my 8 minutes. Lots to unpack there, but general thesis there is stuff that pretty one of those somebody or everybody uses one of those. Um, it's good to have an eye on it and to follow the divergences in the basic standard stock scripts that people use to have an all-in-one divergence, all-in-one volume price or volume over time divergence um, is just a good indicator, a good projection, so to speak, of what is to come or if the current trend will continue. All right, how do we end this thing? Yeah, respect the lines. Most importantly, read the room.